Greetings in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Zamuna Promise, and you're watching According to the Bible. This is the day that the Lord has made for us to rejoice and be glad in it. And indeed, we shall rejoice on this day. Happy Women's Month once again. We are closing the Women's Month and we are saying women and comparison. And luckily we have a wonderful guest today that is going to usher us and tell us more about this topic, because I believe that women always compare themselves to others. They also are being compared, you know. Each and every time you step into a new position, you're always being compared to the latter person that had been occupying that position. So I'm going to allow my guest to greet the viewers today and also tell us about herself. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
It's also a pleasure. Please greet our viewers and just tell them who you are, where you come from, what you do, everything about yourself. Please don't leave anything out.
I'll try to keep it short. Hello everyone, my name is Pulleng. I'm a senior journalist, I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm a choreographer. So today what we'll be talking about is women and constantly comparing themselves with others. So yeah, that's how we're going to be wrapping up August month.
Wow, that's wonderful. Hey, you know, when I actually think about myself, when I've been compared, when I've been comparing myself, I realize this is happening constantly, you know, and I want to understand why, from your perspective, why do we always compare ourselves?
You know, there's one thing, Mrs. Promise, ne? Comparison is there in the world. People compare, but I always say, good, comparison is more detrimental when you do it to yourself. When you are always comparing yourself to other people, when you're always comparing your life to other people's lives, and that's when it's more detrimental, because you cannot be in control of how someone actually views you or what someone says about you. But however, you can control what you say about yourself, and that's why I say, comparison is more detrimental when you do it to yourself.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my passion, to actually always advocate for people to always look at their skills, their talents, their potential in being the unique person that they're actually made to be, instead of always trying to be someone else. I have this saying that goes, why work so hard only trying to be like someone else, whereas all you have to do to be unique is to be yourself.
Absolutely.
That's it.
This is an issue of self-worth, basically, you know.
Definitely.
Do you think it's all about not knowing who you are?
True, you could. I always do say that, because I feel, if you know who you are, you will be more content with who you are. You know, we are in a world where we always want to please society. We always want to be a person that is deemed as this perfect person according to society. And unfortunately, society is always changing. What society deems right, what society deems as perfect, is constantly changing. So therefore, if you fall into that trap, you end up not knowing who you are, because you're always trying to be this new person that society itself does not even know what it is, you understand? And that is why I'm saying people should always try to, seek to be themselves and just stick to that. That is the best thing that you can always do for yourself. And if you do not know who you are, then it's easy to just go with the flow, go with every single trend until you get to a point where you're like, okay, I don't know where I am. And that is why people get to the trap of always comparing themselves, because they want to attach themselves to something. Because obviously, if I'm living my life, this is how I'm living. You see, I'm doing this because it's what I love, and you will be get drawn to that. But unfortunately, you get drawn to who I am, and you're not sticking to your lane. I also have the saying of run your own race and you're guaranteed to win. If you stick to your own, whatever hurdles, whatever trials and tribulations that you will come across, you will be able to overcome, because you are equipped with the skills, the talents, and potential to actually overcome that. But if you go on Elaine Nagas's promise, I will not be able to handle, because I'm not equipped the way you are. You know, even in the Bible, we were created, fearfully and wonderfully created by the creator of heaven and earth.
That's right.
Made in his image, you understand?
Yes.
So why do I have to take all the skills, all the talents, all the weakness, everything that he has instilled in me, and just throw it back to the side, push it on the sideline, just to try to be like someone else, you understand? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, made you unique, made you to be, there's only one you. You know, there's another thing, another fact that about the Sekai need to always remember, Uguti, even your fingerprint. There's no one who has the same fingerprint as you. Even identical twins that people cannot set apart don't even have the same fingerprint. It even goes further to say even the fingerprints on each and everything, it's unique. That's just how unique you are. So why do we have to throw all that and just to try and be like someone else? I always say, why work so hard to be someone else's ID copy? There's
Wow.
no one to certify that ID copy. You understand?
I
Be
understand.
the original barcode.
Yes.
The original barcode ID number. It opens doors for you. But unfortunately, you cannot go through life applying for jobs or applying for things with a ID copy. You need the original. Even when you go to the police station, they need the original to certify that. But unfortunately, there's no one to certify you as someone else's ID copy. No one is there to celebrate you. When you are trying to be like someone else, when you constantly compare yourself, all you're opening the doors for is for criticism. Let people celebrate you, not criticize you.
Wow. You know what I'm picking from this? You are so well informed about this topic, ne? And to me, it seems as if you've been through this. You understand it so much. You know, I want you to tell me about your experience when you were being compared or when you were comparing yourself.
No, definitely. I think most of us have fallen trapped
Yes.
into comparing ourselves with others, and it's something that ikala from a young age. You know how sometimes our parents compare you to others. You know, abazali will always say, "Umntwana ka usibanyoni uyaphasa, ubani bani uyenza so, uyesontweni akaku." You know, that develops in a child, that develops in you, and you always, you know, they always say, "Oh, is a straight A student, you are not." Oh, lo uyenza so. You know, it starts even in school. Our teachers now bias compare. Look at what the other, you know, so it kind of develops, and sometimes it's kind of hard to run away from it. But that is what I'm saying. It's important for you to know yourself, to actually seek who you are and be content with it. And once you're content with it, Promise likes chocolate or she doesn't, it's fine. I don't like it, and that's okay.
Yes,
You need to be content with okay. You need to be content with the things that you like and the things that you don't. That is all in search of being who you are. I've also been a victim of, or not even a victim, but I've also been in the hands of comparing myself. I've also been compared to, but I never let it in because I knew I can't control how the other person views me or what the other person does, but I can control how I act. I can control how I take that in. So yeah, it's just a matter of just knowing who you are and just sticking by it.
Before we quickly go to the break, I want you to tell me one thing that pushes you to overcome that issue of comparison. Just one thing, one word.
One word.
Yes.
I would say me.
Okay.
Being me. If that's the one thing that always gets me out of that trap of comparing myself, of looking at someone else and wanting to be like that person. Just being me, because I know who I am, I know where I'm going, I know what my goals are, I know what my goals are. So therefore, if I know what my goals are, whatever comes along, I will be able to filter it. This does not align with me. This does not agree with me, you know? So that is what I'm saying, being me is the one thing that always helps me to get out of that trap.
And the quality of being you is what
definitely.
makes you being you.
Definitely.
That's so amazing. We're going to quickly go to an ad break right now, and when we come back, we're going to continue from here. Welcome back. This is still According to the Bible with Emuna Promise, and I'm still sitting with my sister, Pulleng. Pulleng, before we went to the break, you spoke about it's society that makes us compare ourselves, you know? But I find it that there's also competition that pushes us to be in comparison. Yes.
True.
Also, and men. I want to talk about men. Amadoda makes us compare each other and they make us compete.
True. You know, I don't want to only put it to Amadota.
Yes.
Because it's not only women who compare themselves. Yes,
Okay.
Konamanje, we are talking about women. We are in Women's Month, and I could also say this because I'm also speaking from a point of most of my friends, people around me, my family members are women who have compared themselves, but men also do compare themselves, and there's so many triggers. There's so many things that lead to that. You know, like when you're in a relationship, in a marriage, and your spouse, you know, is not faithful. You find yourself asking, what is it that made my spouse go to the other person, be
Yes.
unfaithful? Is she lighter? Is she skinnier? Is she thicker than me? You know, you ask yourself all those things. Is she educated? Is she not educated? Is she loud? Is she, you know, you ask yourself all those things, and then you try to see what is it, what characteristics is it that I'm lacking that maybe she has that makes the person to say, okay, I want to be with that person. But also vice versa. Women also do that, do you understand? Men also compare themselves, and it's also because of what women also do. You know, I mean, we can't shy away from the fact that women also are unfaithful, you understand? So it's that as well. I could say maybe not men, but partners, you understand?
Yes.
And also social media. It's another trigger, it's another cause for comparison. Competitions, yes, but like I'm saying, Guti, emhlabeni there are competition, there is comparison. However, it's more detrimental when you do it to yourself. It also needs you to actually be able to distinguish, or to say, yes, this is a competition. There's a specific person that they're looking for. There's a specific character that they're looking for. If you're perhaps going to an audition, they're looking for you to portray a certain palesa. You understand? And just because you don't make it, it does not mean that you are not a good actress. It does not mean that you do not make the cut because you have less, or you are lacking. You might find Uguti Osindiswa, the character Yaga Sindiswa, the minute you walk in, the casting director loves you, and it's like you don't even have to say anything. You are the perfect fit. And that does not take away from anyone else. It just means that you are the person that they're looking for. You possess and you're able to portray it the way that they're looking for it. So that's what people also need to take from competitions. Competitions are there. Various kinds of competitions, and when you go to a competition, it's not a matter of you're not good enough. It's just that you're not what they're looking for. And when we take it back to the Bible, like, you also need to understand, Uguti, there's a timing for everything. Like the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 3 talks about a time for everything. God has placed a time for everything, you understand? So if I don't make it now, it doesn't mean that I'll never make it again, you understand? So we also need to understand, Uguti, maybe just not now, but the time is coming. Maybe I'm not ready yet, because there's certain times where there is something that you want, but you just don't get it, but you get it probably 6 months later. But if you sit back and and understand and analyze, you will see, and like, I was not really ready for it. If I had gotten it then, I probably would have lost it. If I got my car back then, I probably would have lost it, you understand? So that is what I'm saying, we need to also just retrospect, calm down, look back, look at who you are, look at where you're going, look at your goals, and you'll find your way around it. And don't attach who you are with a certain competition. Don't degrade yourself to a competition. Don't put your value or your worth to a certain competition. All you need to do is just say, I'm taking myself to this competition.
Okay, but when we look at it, sometimes this kind of comparison comes because I want to be like this. Take role models, for example.
Okay.
The person that you look up to, right? So I want to be like this. I want to be like Pulleng. Okay. You know, I like how Pulleng speaks. You know, I like how Pulleng properly explains things. Now, is this still comparison? Because remember, I'm going to start doing things the way Pulleng does them because I want to be like Pulleng. Isn't this now inspiration rather? I
like that, because obviously there's a thin line between having a role model and looking up to someone and actually want to be that person.
Yes.
Like you're saying, you can say, I love the fact that I love the motivational speaker Pulleng is. I also want to be a motivational speaker.
Yes.
But there's a difference between being inspired by someone and actually wanting to be that person.
Yes, okay.
I can't say you need to. It's okay for you to say, I want to be this person, I want to be Pulleng. What you need to look at, I want to achieve like Pulleng has achieved. I want to be a motivational speaker like Pulleng has become a motivational speaker. Not say, I want to be Pulleng. And that's where you need to understand there's power in the brain. What you set your mind to, it will come to pass. You understand? So you look up to how she has portrayed herself. You look at how she has run the race of achieving what she has achieved. If she went to school for it, if she's how she puts herself out there as a motivational speaker. As opposed to, I want to start speaking like her, I want to start walking like her, I want to start dressing like her, you understand? Then that's when you start to see, then you want to be Pulleng, not like Pulleng, you understand? So having a role model, there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to understand, there is a difference between being inspired by someone, being inspired by someone's success, and actually wanting a person's life.
So what you're saying basically is that how you draw the line is you still being you.
Thank you.
Although you are inspired by who Pulleng.
Yes, you achieve that which you look up to achieve the way you would achieve it. Perfect example, we have Beyonce Knowles and we have Ubonang Mateba. They're referred to as Queen Bee.
Yes.
But they both celebrated powerful women in their own right, succeeding in their own lanes.
Yes.
Not because one is trying to be that like the other, because one is sticking to their lane and doing the best that they know how to do it. You know, understand? The one is a musician, the one is a media mogul. But we are loving them and celebrating them and following them in their own rights, in their own lane, because they are being who they are. You know, you understand? There's a difference between I want to be like Beyonce, then I start to sound like Beyonce, start to sing like Beyonce, I start presenting like Queen Bee. You understand? The only thing that people will see is a replica of Bonang Mateba, you understand? And that's when people will start criticizing you. That's when people will start comparing you. It's like, okay, but she's lacking this, but she's lacking this. And you're taking away from the uniqueness that is in you. You might find that the presenter that you are is mind-blowing, but we are deprived of that. We can't see that because you're trying to possess and be like Queen Bee, who already is. You understand? She's thriving because she's sticking to her own lane and doing what she does the best way that she knows how to. So yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned something from the Bible that we have been fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And I believe that these are the things that other people don't know. And you also spoke about being me. You said it helped you to be you, you know. And quickly before we're going to move to the break, I want you to say those things that people need to be so that they can be themselves and not focus on the other sides.
I'm an advocate of writing things down.
Okay.
I love writing things down, be it your goals, your aspirations, what you aspire to be, but also people who also say, I battle, I don't really know who I am, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what I want to become. I always advocate for writing things down.
Yes.
Write just something as simple as writing down what it is that you love, what it is that you don't love.
Okay.
Just be honest. Be honest with yourself. It starts with you. You need to be honest with yourself, and this is what I love and this is what I don't love. And be content with that, because that sums up, that is part of forming who you are. And once you know, okay, this is me. This is me, and there's nothing, and be unapologetic about it, you understand? And once you have done that, then you just live by that, and you're like, okay, this is who I am, and this is how I'm going to live my life. And nothing and no one will be able to alter and shake that and move it.
And I know things that you don't like, does this also count on accepting your flaws?
It is, and necessarily, I think that's the other mistake that we tend to make, that just because I don't like something, it does not mean that there's something wrong with me. Just because I don't love chocolate, or I don't love Cadbury, or whatever it is I don't like. If I don't love a certain animal, it does not mean if I don't love lions, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just me. And that is what I'm saying. We need to run away from society's standards. We need to run away from what society deems as a perfect person. You need to be an animal lover. You need to be if I don't love it, it's me. There's nothing that I can do about it. This is who I am, but you need to accept me the way I am. But in order for people to accept you for who you are, you need to know who you are, and you need to stick by it and say, this is who I am. A person that doesn't know you from above so cannot begin telling you what your name is unless they have seen it, read it, or heard about it. In the same way, you're supposed to present yourself to people and show people who you are with your actions. Say, this is me. And it's up to them if they will take you or not, but this is who you are and you're content with it.
Yes, wow, it's getting even hotter and hotter. And when we come back from the break, Pulleng is going to tell us and go even deeper on how these things impact us. We'll be back. And we are back, closing the Women's Month with Women and Comparison. I'm still sitting with the Miss Pulleng. Sissy Pulleng, please tell me, where does this comparison and competition really happen? Where do we see it happening?
Yeah, everywhere. We see it in many different places. We see it in our workplaces. We see at home. We see it at school. In Sebenzing, you find that someone is actually looking to be like a director or a manager, they're a supervisor, you understand? And that's where they start to develop hate, anger. They start to develop jealousy, you understand? They try to sabotage the person. And if umuntu who believes that's when people start to go there and buy tagata, because they so fixated on wanting to be that person. You know, you start by, I want to be in that position, I want to be in that position, until you actually want to be that person. You want to take everything that person has. You know, unfortunately, sometimes it goes to a point where even people go as far as saying, I want her position, I want her life, I want her husband, and it's true. It's sad, but it's true. It happens. Umuntu will end up wanting to sabotage someone just so that they can step in the person's shoes, literally. We see it eskolweni, you know, you also want to be, I don't know, the captain, an A-student, or the captain of the netball team or the soccer team. You know, you end up wanting, imitating. Sometimes you even end up, some of them end up befriending the friends that you have. You know, they're trying to be in that circle because they want so much to be like you, and they're shying away from who they really are, you understand? But they just so fixated, not knowing what's, maybe you could be the captain of the chess team, you understand? But because you have idealized this person, you want to become that person, you want to sabotage that person. Now you are so focused on this person, you are so focused on this person's life, that your own life has now just become standstill. You know, the minute you just look and shift your eyes to that person, your life is at a standstill, while that person is 10 steps ahead, but your life is still on 2. Regardless of how much you might try to alter and change yourself, your life will still remain on number 2. And trust me, believe you me, when you are done, when reality hits, like another saying that I have, reality hits hard those that don't face it. But the minute you are forced to face the reality, my love, you're going to go back to that position number 2, while that person will probably be on 20, because they're sticking to their lane and running their own race the best way that they know how. And that's why I'm saying it's all around us. But in order for you to be able to just duck and dive and go back You know, sometimes you do off-ramp and I cannot take that away. But in order for you to go back to a high weight, in order for you to go to your fast or slow lane, of which none of them is better than the other, as long as it's your lane, it's fine. In order for you to go back there, you just need to be true to who you are. Yeah. That's it.
And you also mentioned it happens in churches. I want to hear this.
It does. It does. Asha ifuna ukuba umamfundisi. You understand? Sekasibona lapha sekaza noma nobamfundisi. You understand? It does. It really happens. It does. It truly happens. And especially, it's so painful that it happens at a place where we're not expecting it to happen. And I think that's where it's more dangerous, because that's where you're not expecting it to happen. Umamfundisi will welcome you with open arms. And it's so sad that sometimes, that's why I'm saying, it develops comparison develops certain characteristics in you that you yourself will end up, once reality hits, you will end up surprised with who have I become? Because you end up developing this anger, you end up developing this jealousy, you end up developing this manipulative character that you will even go to Omamfundisi's house knowing what it is that you actually want. You don't want deliverance, you don't want prayer, you don't want to be prayed for healing, you want her life, you want her, you want to sabotage her, you want to remove her from that seat, and you want to go there, and you will do whatever it is in order for you to get to that chair, in order for you to get to that seat. And that is why I'm saying, comparison is very detrimental and it's very negative. It's not just a mere fact of, I aspire to be like Promise. I'm just going to get an iPhone because she has an iPhone. It goes deeper than that. People's lives get distracted. People's lives get destroyed because of a comparison. Because people need to understand it goes deeper than just what we see. That's just the facade that we see in front of us.
It's very dangerous. Yeah. It's not just dangerous to the person you're comparing yourself to, it's also dangerous to yourself.
True,
and I do believe that you will not always get the results that you want. I want to hear the negative impact, therefore, you know, after you've tried to compare yourself to the next person and nothing happened, you couldn't be that person, what are the negative effects of that?
You're just this black and white ID copy, just seeking to be certified, unfortunately. But it leads to you hurting. Obviously, sometimes when you're so fixated on being like someone else, it also leads to you obviously, like I've explained, you destroy someone else's life because you want to be that person. And unfortunately, you are hurting a person who didn't even ask for it. You understand? You destroy her life. Like I said, you go to the witch doctors or whatever, you use black magic just to try and just remove her. Unfortunately, you're destroying that person's life and anyone else who's related to that person. But the other detrimental part is that you also hurt yourself. You also are shying away from who you were made to be. And unfortunately, the other part that we also need to remember, we are throwing back all the characters, all the amazing character qualities and goals and dreams and purposes that God has instilled in you, and you're throwing them back into your face and saying, God, you didn't do a good job. You made a mistake. You fell short somewhere because I'm not happy with the product, with this person that you have made. The person that you fearfully and wonderfully made, I'm not happy with because you should have made me like this person. You understand? So that is why I'm saying, there's so many negative and deeper impacts of comparing yourself to someone else, because there's a specific reason why you are you. There's so many things there are lives that you can change. There are people's lives that you can turn for the better. But unfortunately, we are putting that on hold. You are hurting everyone, delaying everyone's process just because you are trying to be like someone else. You're trying to be someone else's ID copy. And ultimately, you are saying, God, Yenziput.
Wow, Pulleng, I'm blown away. I'm blown away, and I'm not going to lie, you know. And I want you to tell our viewers, right? I want you to alert them. If you see that there is a person that is really trying to be you, how can you alert them? Because this is very dangerous, you know. What are the things that they need to look out for? And can they address it, or should they run away?
I think you also need to see at which stage that it is at. Okay. And you also need to understand that it's a mental thing. Yes. Because obviously your approach also matters, because obviously if I see that someone is trying to be like me, imitating me, or trying to do, you know, it's the person has spent countless times and countless hours working and believing and convincing themselves that this is who I want to be, this is the image that I want to fit into. So you need to, your approach needs to, is very important, you understand? You need to, there's certain things that you obviously look out for, and it also touches, I don't want to touch a lot on it, but it touches on mental health as well. Umuntu will literally start dressing like you, will literally start talking like you, will literally start possessing things that you have. And yes, we might not see it as something that would happen in reality. But unfortunately, like I said, it does happen, but to do the weirdest and most hurtful things out there. So I think those are some of the things that you need to look around. When you meet someone, you meet promise, this is the promise that you know, but then all of a sudden, this is not the promise that you know. As I know you as my friend, that this is how you react to certain situations, certain troubles. This is how you react to joy, or when you have an achievement, this is how you react to it. When I come to you as a friend, I'm saying, friend, I've won this, or friend, I've got this. How you respond will tell me exactly where where your state of mind is at. You understand?
Yes.
And those are some of the things that you need to look out for. And then obviously as a friend, you will know how to approach that person and say, okay, let's just,
how we can do
yeah,
it.
let's just deal
Thank
with
you
this.
so much, Sis Pulleng. It's been wonderful having you. And
Thank
you
you
so
so
much
much.
to our viewers. This is how we close our Women's Month on According to the Bible.